This is the new TVS Ntorq 150, the bigger, more premium and better equipped version of the Ntorq 125. TVS is calling it the hyper sports scooter, hyper in terms of performance, agility and tech. But is that just a good marketing pitch, or does the scooter really live up to that tag? That's what we are trying to find out by riding the scooter briefly around TVS's testing track in Hosur to give you our first impressions. Let's start off with the design, and I know this is subjective matter, but I'm going to start with a confession that I truly love the way the Ntorq 150 looks. The moment TVS took the wraps off the scooter, there was a big smile on my face because it clearly looks like a sportier, more muscular version of the Ntorq 125, which is already a very sporty looking scooter, but this one builds on that with more aggression and sportier design lines all across. The front apron, as you can clearly see, it is very nicely layered. There are sharp cuts and creases and contours, looks more muscular, and these four projector LED headlamps and this sleek DRL with integrated turn indicator really look nice and catches a lot of attention, should catch a lot of attention on the road. And as you can see, this is a naked handlebar, which is quite uncommon among scooters. This gives you, or this should remind you of the TVS X electric scooter, the very premium electric scooter which TVS unveiled a few years back. At the back also, as you can see, the design looks very similar to the Ntorq 125, but the tail lamp looks sharper and it is actually edgier than the Ntorq 125. So overall, the design is actually looks like a bigger and more premium version of the Ntorq 125. But I really feel that proportion-wise, it should have been bigger and slightly bulkier. Especially if there were 14-inch wheels, it would have given more visual mass to the scooter. It carries on with 12-inch wheels as the Ntorq 125. But that said, overall a nice handsome looking scooter. There are 4 color options in total. This one is the swankiest of them with these yellow front apron, yellow wheels and yellow accents here and there. So overall a very fancy, very nice looking scooter.
As eye-catchy as the scooter looks visually, it is equally good in terms of build quality. Be it the winglets integrated into the front apron or fancy switchgear, everything exudes a sense of solidity and premiumness. Moreover, the paint finish looks neat and there aren't any uneven panel gaps to notice.
And the underseat storage space is 22 liters, which is definitely nowhere close to being the biggest in the segment or among scooters that are available in India. You can easily fit a small half-face helmet in there. We tried fitting a full-face helmet, but there was no chance a full-face helmet was being accommodated there. But still, it's a decently sized underseat storage provision. We have come across smaller provisions, and this one should do the job if you want to like carry a small backpack, like squeeze in there very tightly. But yeah, in terms of practicality and space and the overall seating ergos also, coming to the ergos, this handlebar is quite wide for a scooter, and which gives you decent leverage, which is not the case with many scooters. Even the overall riding triangle is comfortable, even while taking tight U-turns. Your knees will be brushing the handlebar a little, but it's nothing too extreme. It won't be a bother too much, because even for taller individuals, there is quite a bit of space for their knees to not be brushing against the front aprons. So in terms of comfort and practicality, the Ntorq 150 is quite a nice scooter. Now, design aside, a scooter is supposed to be practical, and I must say that the Ntorq 150 scores decently high in that department. Starting off with the seating space and comfort, starting off with the seat especially, this has a lot of space. Even for my 5 feet 11-inch frame, I did not feel that the seat was cramped. Even if you're of the same height or slightly taller and slightly heftier, space won't be an issue on this seat. Similar story with the floorboard as well, because even with my chunky boots, I have quite a bit of place to move my feet if I have to. And even with both your feet on the floorboard, you can carry some shopping bags. Maybe there's a hook as well over here. Now, talking about space or storage provisions, there is one open cubby hole at the front which should fit a 1-liter bottle, maybe a coffee tumbler. As I said, even the floorboard has decent space. The underseat space, storage space though, is just 22 liters, which is nowhere close to being the best amongst scooters that are available in India. But you can easily fit in a half face helmet. I tried putting in my full size full face helmet in there, but there was no way. There was no way basically the seat was closing. But a half face helmet or maybe a small backpack, you can easily accommodate there. One thing which I really liked and appreciate when manufacturers give that is the parking brake lock, which really helps preventing the scooter from rolling at the front or at the back when you are parking the scooter on the slope. Again, this also has adjustable levers which can be adjusted. The reach to the lever can be adjusted in 3 steps, which is again a very admirable feature to have in a scooter. So in terms of practicality and space, the Ntorq 150 is actually quite impressive.
If you think the Ntorq 125 is loaded with tech and features, the Ntorq 150 is in a different league altogether. The higher spec variant gets a color TFT screen which looks more premium than many bigger motorcycles. It gets Bluetooth connectivity with over 60 connected features, some of them being unconventional like smartwatch integration and Alexa pairing. The display shows plethora of information, gets over-the-air updates, shows social media notifications, and a host of other facilities which you might never even access. What's truly commendable though is the presence of switchable traction control system in the higher spec variant. Moreover, there are 2 riding modes including race and street with varying power delivery.
Now, before I tell you how the scooter fared at the track in terms of riding experience, let me quickly take you through the engine and hardware specifications. Now, this is a 150cc 3-valve air-cooled engine. The base is the same as the Ntorq 125, but there have been a lot of changes done to the engine. For example, the stroke is longer, the bore is bigger, there's a bigger airbox. Even the engine internals have been changed to achieve better performance, better acceleration, such as there's a lighter crank and stuff like that. And the power and torque output numbers stand at 13 bhp and 14.2 Newton meters, which are considerably more than the Ntorq 125. And so basically you also have 2 ride modes, race and street. And there's a subtle difference in performance in either of these modes. TVS has also changed the transmission system of this engine to deliver better acceleration, slightly higher top speed. And now coming to the hardware, the chassis is essentially the same as the Ntorq 125's main frame. There have been subtle changes like to make it slightly stiffer, and even the suspension hardware is the same as the Ntorq 125, but the damping and spring rates have been increased. So the tuning is basically different, and the wheels are the same, and the front disc is also the same, but now you get the facility of single channel ABS. Tires are from Eurogrip Remora, and they are actually re-engineered for the Ntorq 150 to deliver you better feedback and grip. Now let's see how the scooter performs at the track.
Sit on the Ntorq 150 and it instantly feels like a roomy scooter with good amount of space on the seat and floorboard. When you crank up the motor, you are greeted by the familiar soundtrack which is almost identical to the Ntorq 125. As I rolled out on the track, the first thing which impressed me was the engine's refinement. The motor feels smooth, even beyond 90 kmph of speed, and there are no vibrations to speak of. And while the acceleration is strong, the scooter didn't feel significantly quicker than its 125cc sibling. However, I will reserve my judgment on that for the road test review since most two-wheelers feel slow on the track. That said, the roll-on acceleration feels brisk, be it from 30 or 60 kmph. The engine maxes out slightly over 100 kmph. I tried switching between both riding modes repeatedly, but the difference in performance wasn't really evident. And when you need to slow down, the front brake delivers an assuring bite with good lever feel. Even the rear brake has a good balance of bite and progression. The handling, meanwhile, feels just like the Ntorq 125, agile yet predictable. It leans into corners with minimal effort but doesn't scare you by tipping unnervingly quickly. Holding your desired line through the corner is easy and the grip and feel from the tires are reasonably good. While judging the ride quality wasn't possible on the smooth tarmac of the test track, the suspension setup did handle a bumpy left-hander quite well without moving or bouncing too violently.
So it's difficult to judge every aspect of a scooter after riding it for 15-20 minutes at a testing track. But there are a few things that I could actually gauge about the Ntorq 150. But what was extremely impressive was the engine refinement, because even at 100 kmph, I did not feel any buzz, neither on the footboard nor on the handlebar. So it's a very refined engine. There are no vibrations. The handling is superb, which is the case with most TVS scooters and motorcycles. It is quite flickable. Every time I was taking a corner, I was quite confident that it will stick to its lines. It will act obediently, and helping its case further are the tires, which deliver brilliant grip and feedback. Now, there are a lot of things which are left to be answered, which we can only tell you after riding or testing the scooter properly for our road test review, like the mileage, how does it feel in the city, what's the ride quality like, and what's the overall comfort like over a longer period of time.
The introductory price of the Ntorq 150 start from Rs 1.19 lakh ex showroom, while the top spec model with the TFT screen cost Rs 1.29 lakh.
So this was my first impressions about the TVS Ntorq 150. I'm Anuj, signing off for now. Do not forget to like our channel, hit the subscribe button, and share this video with as many people as you can if you found it useful.